I was given honorary ranks by the President of India and pipped by the Army Chief General V.K. Singh for my outstanding contribution in close quarter battle. Now, close quarter battle is a relatively new subject that cropped up since Kargil. In Kargil, the army and the armed forces saw the enemy engage with them at close quarters, that is just up to 30 yards. So you could actually see the enemy right in front of you. And newer methodologies were required to tackle the enemy at such close quarters. At that time, I happened to be at the right place at the right time, and here I am going to tell you about my journey with the army and how I donned the uniform after 20 years of serving the army as a civilian. So let's start right at the beginning. I was a doctor by profession. I was always appreciative of the Indian Army, and I always wanted to be part of the Indian Army. Why? Because Indian Army always symbolified duty, it symbolified ethos and ethics, it symbolified patriotism, and it symbolified adventure. And that is the reason why I was always enamored by the Indian Army. But destiny had taken me to become a doctor. But yet there was a desire to do something for the Indian Army. I got married to another doctor, Dr. Rao, and she was the daughter of a freedom fighter. Me and her both were very, very, very desirous of doing something related to the army, and we decided that we would do something in a hobby that we were pursuing, and that hobby was martial arts. So both of us, I was 22 and she was 18, both of us had spent more than 5 years and 10 years in martial arts, and we were quite good at it. We decided that we will use our martial arts expertise to serve the country. I am an unarmed combat expert, but I have served the army as a close quarter battle specialist, and that is why I have been granted the rank. So I am going to tell you how that happened. We came across various skills in martial arts, and we came across Bruce Lee's Jeet Kune Do. We studied Bruce Lee's art, which is called Jeet Kune Do, and we got certified in it. And this art was not available in India at that time. Therefore, we wrote to the Army Chief, the Naval Chief, the Air Chief, the DG BSF, the DG NSG, that we have this kind of expertise and we are willing to give this expertise to the armed forces. This was, I'm talking of 1994, 1996. All of them agreed, and all of a sudden we found ourselves in the middle of people donning the uniform, the armed forces. We spent 6 weeks at Para Center, we spent 6 weeks training the Marine Commando, 6 weeks training National Security Guard, we spent 6 weeks training BSF at BSF Academy. And we found ourselves all of a sudden very, very, very busy, because every time we finished training a particular force or a particular institution, there would be more institutions inviting us, more forces calling us over. And unknowingly, what started off as a small way of doing something for the armed forces became a full-time career. 10 months in a year, we would be out at age 24 and my wife being age 21, and we would be visiting various force locations and we would be training them in armed combat. Now we got the opportunity to learn shooting, and we learned to shoot at various ranges in various forces. In a span of about few years, 5 years or so, we had fired 1 lakh rounds and we had become experts dealing with different type of assault rifles used by different forces. And we started thinking, at close quarters, when the enemy is right in front of you, you don't really need to aim like this. And we devised a new method of shooting which went for patent, which was called reflex shooting, Rao method. A few forces invited us because they were very keen to see what this new method was. And all of a sudden, we found ourselves visiting various forces to teach reflex shooting. Now, unarmed combat had taken the back seat and reflex shooting had taken the front seat. 10 years passed like this. Thereafter, a lot of forces told us that they are interested in coordinated shooting, where the whole team shoots together. Nobody is interested in one-man shooting because people go in small squads and they go in small groups and they fight. So we started working on that. Coordinated shooting, team shooting, squad shooting, and that became a hit again. The next 2 years we spent going to various para units, various commando units, various paramilitary forces, and we spread our expertise of shooting and team tactics. By that time, close quarter battle had become in demand, and we realized that all the skills and all the various training modules that we were imparting that fell into the gamut of close quarter battle. So we started now being known as close quarter battle specialists. This was about 15 years. We were not doing medicine, but we were going 10 months a year, 10 months every year in various units. And yes, we did not take any compensation for this other than our travel. So 15 years went by. In those 15 years, a lot of things happened. I dislocated my knee in one assignment. I had a very bad time. I was down in bed for about 10 months. After 10 months, I recovered. I started limping around for about a year. But I continued my work. Because it was giving me a lot of satisfaction being with the uniformed forces. Yes, my wife also was involved with me in the same training. After that, I had a slip disc. By then I had become about 35. And the slip disc kept me in bed for another year and a half. But when I recovered, again I was back on my toes. Going back to shooting, going back to training, going back to accepting the various invitations. The high point of our life was when 2 special forces invited us to train them in a joint exercise. And word spread to Army headquarters. And Army headquarters began taking an interest in our work, and we sent all our work, all our credentials, all our research to the Chief of Army Staff. And in 2001, General Padmanabhan gave us the first Army Chief citation. That was a very high point in our life because it endorsed that we were doing good work for the forces. 2005, General J.J. Singh gave us a second Army Chief citation. And 2010, General V.K. Singh gave us a third Army Chief Citation. By then, around 2007, General Deepak Kapoor, as Army Commander, Northern Command, invited us to this close quarter battle at the battle schools in J&K. That was a very, very, very big assignment. We went to the schools, specific schools, I won't name them here, in the valley in J&K, and 2,500 instructors were called from all over Northern Command for this training. That was followed by a similar stint in Eastern Command, where Army Commander General V.K. Singh invited us training for the instructors of Eastern Command. Following this, we were very, very happy. We said, okay, we managed to contribute something significant to the armed forces, and we were very happy. But in 2011, we really got a surprise when the Indian Army headquarters sent a letter to me saying that I was going to be one of the privileged few to be inducted as an honorary officer in 116 TA. And that was when my life's dream came true, that I got to don the uniform. Following that, my journey as a TA officer, me and my wife got President's Award in 2019 for serving the Indian Army in close quarter battle and in reflex shooting, for inventing a new method of shooting called reflex shooting. We wrote a book. That book was Encyclopedia of Close Quarter Battle Operations. It was the first kind of its book in the world, where somebody had taken everything, all our research of the past 20 years, we had put it into encyclopedia, and we used all our life's money in producing that, that was about 12 lakhs at that time. And we gifted it free to the Indian Army, to the Indian Home Ministry. And it was a very proud moment for us, where we went bankrupt by that process. But then, we had contributed. And we were very fortunate that this book was found useful by these organizations. The book also went to FBI, and it went to Interpol, and it went to Buckingham Palace, and it found a proud place in their libraries. So, as a territorial army officer, I have had the privilege of visiting many units, being part of many functions, and being part of their, invitee for special guests as parades. I also was called by about 3 units of TA to train them, and that was also a big privilege for me, that I could do something for my force. So this was in short my story of moving from a civilian into the TA and into the armed forces. My advice to people here, young people, I can see a lot of them sitting here. My advice is that if they want adventure, if they want patriotism, and if they want discipline, well, then the Indian Army is always there, right in front of you, which will recruit the best of the best, and you must definitely try to get in there. However, if you happen to get into other professions, and then you wish to pursue that profession, and at the same time you want to don the uniform, then the Territorial Army is a fabulous option, because it offers age relaxation, it offers other relaxations, and it offers you the dual role of being a civilian as well as a soldier. So with that, I would like to end this. Jai Hind.